OB's done a great job with that. Coach Belichick's done a great job. So definitely just want to learn and be a sponge. That's all I can do, right? And just pick his brain about defense, because he's really good with the defensive side of the ball, and learning that part of it, because, you know, that's really what he does really, really well.
I was just laughing about that. All right, we're going to deep dive this topic. We still have WEI's Andy Hart. We have Tommy Giles here with us. Curran and Phil are down at Gillette. So the first time I heard this, I was like, this is kind of much ado about nothing. Like, Bill is a defensive guy. But every time I listen to the comments, Giles, more and more, I'm like, no, that was pointed. Mac Jones isn't a dummy. He wanted to not say anything bad, but let it be known that he didn't exactly like his offensive input and the way he ran things last year. But, man, does he like his defense. What a good defensive coach over there on the defensive side.
I don't want to be pessimistic, but he had the opportunity. There was the opportunity there to say that Bill's great at everything. He's just a great coach in general. So he didn't exactly take that opportunity, and it kind of, you know, lines up. And I don't know. I think Mac's just like, Bill O'Brien's my offensive coach. That side of the ball is all Bill O'Brien, and everything else is everything else.
And we've seen it. I mean, Bill O'Brien is running the show, running the offense. Even today, Bill O'Brien made a mistake and stopped everything. Like, nope, I don't have this right. Like, it's his show. And I think Mac's a smart guy. I don't think he says a lot of things just sort of flippantly and then like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. I think Kendrick Bourne last week told us what he thought with his words. Didn't take pot shots, but Bill O'Brien knows what he's doing. Bill Belichick is a good defensive coach, really good defensive coach on that side of the ball. And also, isn't it the truth? It's a simple truth. Even if you go back to his time in Cleveland, when Bill's involved with the offense at a high level, it's not as good. Like, he took over play calling in Cleveland and frustrated his play call. Like, it doesn't always go well. But defensively, you're not going to find a lot of people that will criticize Bill Belichick defensively. So, Mac, appreciate the honesty, fella. See how it works out for you.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, Curran, I know last week, you know, we spent, I think Felger reminded us, 9 minutes talking about the relationship between Mac and Bill. It's a conversation I'm sort of tired of. But then something like this happens today, and you're like, oh, well, man, they are kind of getting some little subtle shots at one another.
Yeah, I mean, it's another puff of smoke. And as Andy pointed out, when you give him the opportunity to say he's the best, man, he's the greatest coach of all time. What else do you think is going to be going on behind closed doors with us? He's just dispensing knowledge and morsels left and right. And he passes on that opportunity. The same way Bill, when he says Mac can play in this league, I think when Mac says he's a really good defensive coach, it's damning with faint praise and leaving out the part that would be the more flowery aspect. Is that puff of smoke indicative of a fire that's going to rage and burn the Patriots' 2023 season to the ground? I still don't think so.
And I would agree with that. I think the product that we see on the field in terms of the Patriots offense is going to come down to Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones. And Bill Belichick, of course, will have input, significant input, in terms of the overall overarching game plan and how to approach things week to week. But the nuance and the subtleties and the details of the offense will now be left to this guy who has done it for decades at a really high level, and Bill O'Brien. Mac Jones is clearly very excited about that. Just about every offensive player we've spoken to is clearly very excited about that. And this is just sort of life on the Patriots beat, isn't it, guys? Like, what we do because of the way things get handled sometimes behind a microphone is we read into things. We look at body language. This is just sort of what we've been trained to do for many, many years. It happened again today. That was a compliment that Mac Jones paid Bill Belichick, but now we're looking at it and saying, well, when he says what he's really good at is defense, well, what does that mean? Does that mean he's better at defense than something else? And we think back to last year.
Well, first of all, we know it's June. We're talking passive-aggressive or backhanded compliments and the Patriots and all those things. But there's no question Bill O'Brien is the key to all of this, because he's the guy that's going to be in the meeting with Mac, then he's going to be in the meeting with Bill. He's going to be on the field with the two of them. He hears all this. He probably hears Mac say, well, how come Bill didn't say I should be a starter for the Patriots? And hears Bill say, how come Mac didn't say I'm a good coach all around? So Bill O'Brien is the centerpiece of this. We can make all we want about all the other comments. It's Bill O'Brien. He's got a big job here.
And I think, you know, kind of they just got to it as far as how the season's going to play out. They start winning games, does it matter? Like, is it really going to matter? Like, that's the thing. Like, as long as they go out there and they look better and they look functional and they're a competitive football team, I don't think any of it really matters.
This matters if they start 1-3 and 0-4. Yeah. We're not even talking about it if they start. I know this is going to sound crazy, but 2-2 and 3-1 or 3-1 with that tough schedule, because it's all about whether or not they win. Well, one thing Mac cannot stop raving about is the Patriots' new offense under Bill O'Brien.
there's things that pop up in practice, issues, and we just try to fix them on the run, or we have tools to do that. So it's all about your toolbox, and that's what's so great about the system is just you use it as a quarterback. Obviously, the most like is put on you, but that's a good thing because you have tools to kind of fix it.
All right, so Max certainly sounds very excited about the offense. He has this whole new toolbox to work with. But, Phil, what is that going to look like? What is it going to transpire to look like actually on the field? And are you seeing any of it at these early OTAs and minicamps?
Yeah, I think we saw a brief glimpse of it today when the Patriots were going 11 on 11 and they were running what looked like a little bit of a blitz period where the Patriots defense threw a couple of different blitz looks at Mac Jones and the first team offense. And on the second one, he saw the all-out blitz coming because there was late adjustment by people on the other side of the line of scrimmage. He made a couple hand signals to his weapons on the outside, and he ends up finding Kendrick Bourne over the middle for a catch and run, touchdown. And the reason this comment stood out to me today, Tom, is because last year around this time, we were starting to hear rumblings of, well, they are just calling and running plays. The call comes in, they get aligned, and they run it. There are no adjustments at the line of scrimmage, and that was due in part to the coaching staff wanting to make things simple for everybody and trying to play fast. Heard that over and over and over again this time last year. Play fast, play fast, play fast. They really never gave the keys to the offense to Mac Jones, and I think he was dying to get him. I think he's thrilled now because he has him back. He had him as a rookie. They were taken away, and now he's back to 2021.
It's fascinating, and Phil reported on this last year that he wasn't allowed, Mac was not allowed to audible out of plays that were doomed, and we did start to hear towards the end of training camp Mac say, sometimes I want to know the why of a play. Why are we doing something that we know won't work? He didn't say that, but he did say, I want to know the why of something. In those practices, we saw things that did not work. And we'd say, well, why are they doing that? They're not making any progress. And the frustration was evident. So if we look at what they were doing last year and flip now, and he's got a toolbox instead of a lunchbox, and he can actually take things out and fix it instead of looking at a bologna sandwich, he's good to go. And that's going to help this team all throughout this offseason. We can talk about the personnel, and that's definitely an issue. Who's going to be there at wide receiver? Who are going to be the players that he's addressing? And I think that's an ongoing issue that we've addressed already on the show. But that aspect of this offense with Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones is why I've been bullish on how well this team can perform relative to last year and get back to 2021 levels.
And beyond the audibles, what are some other areas, Andy, that you think will notice a difference? Like something that we'll see from Mac this year that maybe we didn't even see from him when he was with Josh McDaniels, because there should be a natural progression for him finally.
I think comfort, I think leadership, I think scheme-wise, I think you're seeing some things with motions with Kendrick Bourne. Now, the limitations at receiver we talked about earlier is tough to judge because we're seeing a lot of two tight end sets. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, Bill O'Brien's back. Gronk and Hernandez, two tight ends. That's what he does. And there was a lot of Gesicki and Hunter Henry today, but is that because you're missing a couple receivers? Will that alter a little bit? No, I think they're going to have some interesting motions. People that thought that Kendrick Bourne was a poor man's Deebo Samuel. Remember that a couple of years ago after his good year faded? I think you may see some things like that. Or even aspects of the Steve Sarkisian offense at Alabama. You remember Devontae Smith. They used to motion him in and out of the backfield, do some things with him that I think you're going to see Kendrick Bourne and some of these guys do. So I think you're taking it to the next level. And in terms of Mac's audibles, Tom, you can talk about this. I think you even asked him about it. He's not only audibling at the line of scrimmage when he's taking reps, he's audibling behind the line of scrimmage when Bailey Zappi is taking reps. He's practicing his audibles in between series with all the mental reps. I think that's a massive change for him in June with a new offense compared to last year.
Yeah, it's cool to watch because it looks weird, but you can tell he's engaged, and he's not just, as he said, just hanging out, cracking jokes. So there's a concrete activity that he's engaged in, and it must be interesting for Bailey Zappi to say, is he doing it? Is he doing something that I wouldn't be doing? And should I be worried about whether or not I'm doing this? But they're engaged. He's sky high about it. He's got a great defensive coach to help him too.
Curran, how have they looked? You've been at all of the workouts and this first minute back. Like, how has the offense looked?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, that sounds like you're tempering things.
I'm gonna defer to Phil a little bit on this because I'm going to defer to no. Phil did a great job, and we constantly have this conversation when things don't go well for the offense, and this happened last year too, and both things ended up being true. Is the defense good, or does the offense suck? Well, last year it was both things. Phil, you noted when they had an 11-on-11 period today, the offense sputtered a bit.
Yeah, there was, and it was towards the end of the session, and it was actually right before those two blitz plays where Mac Jones did complete a pass to Parker and then the touchdown to Bourne. But right before that, there was a sack by Juwan Bentley on a blitz that didn't get picked up. Dietrich Wise batted a pass at the line of scrimmage. They hit a little check down to Ty Montgomery, but then it looked like there was another sack by Matthew Judon. So it wasn't perfect, and they are leaning heavily on these two tight ends, Mike Gesicki and Hunter Henry. I think I counted of the first 18 competitive throws that Mac Jones made today, 11 were targeted at tight ends. Again, very thin at receiver, but it wasn't all great for the New England Patriots offense.
Add one quick thing, too. There were aborted plays last year on a frequent basis where Mac would just throw it in the ground or a play had no shot. We don't see very many of those at all right now.